As summer approached, the battle on the picket lines intensified. Violent confrontations with the police, especially London's Met, nicknamed the White Shirts, were now a regular occurrence.
These thugs, and they were mainly the white-collar police from London. They were the main aggressors. Because whenever we went to a picket line and we seen them with the white collars on, we knew there was going to be a problem there.
The worst police that we encountered were the Met Police, weren't there? Oh, they were cruel to us. Yes. Yeah. I mean, we weren't cruel to them, but they were very cruel to us. They used to round us, get us in a circle, and then keep making the circle smaller and smaller till they crushed us all together.
There was a culture, a laddish culture, on occasions a yobbish culture of what went on. But I think that was the only way to meet what we were meeting ourselves. The miners weren't playing by any set of rules, and the only way to defeat them was to cheat. But there was no option at the time but to play dirty with dirty people.
By May, almost all of Britain's mines were shut down. But Nottinghamshire kept working. The coal from its pits was keeping the country going. Flying pickets stepped up their action to shut those pits, and the police became doubly determined to stop them.
I want to break free. I want to break free.
In 1984, for a very brief period in this country, we had a national police force controlled centrally from Downing Street, effectively. And the police took it upon themselves to stop and arrest people on suspicion that they might commit a civil offence, not a criminal offence, a civil offence, which is the equivalent of home taping or parking on a double yellow line. And anyone who looked like they might help the miners were prevented from travelling around the country.
You just come alongside with me.
Oh, well, talk here.
All right.
No, where everybody can see us. Why do you suspect us of causing a breach of the peace?
Your presence here gives me a cause to suspect that a breach of the peace will occur.
It was like being in a red state in Russia. There was no explanation to it because at every corner was a policeman. Policemen from Merseyside, from London, from all over the place. And they was telling us that we couldn't walk our own streets. They were telling us that we couldn't do things that we'd been doing all our lives.
Mr. Blair, first of all, how seriously do you take these accusations today from various parts of the country about an undercover police operation in this dispute?
Well, I take them very seriously indeed. You see, what's obviously happening is that the police are going far beyond what are their normal powers and are engaging, certainly in my view, in a form of emergency powers and stopping people going to picket.
But life still goes on.
In May, a coke plant at Orgreave in Yorkshire became the focus of some of the most violent clashes so far between the police and miners. Scargill hoped by closing Orgreave he could stop the vital supply of coke and win the strike.
I must tell you that what we've got is an attempt to substitute the rule of the mob for the rule of law. And it must not...
When you look at it, Mrs. Thatcher deployed the full resources of the state, the army, the police, the media against the miners, and made it into a civil war. No question, she saw it as a civil war. She talked about the enemy within. I used to talk to some of the miners on the picket line who said, look, we served in the last World War, and now we're the enemies within, and the anger. But to defeat the state is a big thing.
More support, Mr. Simpson, more support! Hold on, please, hold on.
We were called on to do a job by the government, and there were those, I suppose, that thought that we had to do some help with the Conservative government. They looked after us for 3 or 4 years, and now it was definitely payback time.
12 weeks into the strike, and the outcome was hanging in the balance. The miners still had much of the country behind them, despite the violence on the picket lines. Arthur Scargill had galvanised his troops into the most powerful force to threaten the government in years. He'd wanted a battle to the end, and now he was about to get it.